Margaret, I welcome, actually it's one of the first debates that I've had the opportunity to sit and listen to, given the restrictions we've had since I was elected, and I want to acknowledge all of the contributions and particularly the commitment of the two ministers, Minister Brown and Minister Naughton. I welcome the publication of the strategy. And why do I do that? Because many of the communities that we discussed in this report are the communities that I represent here in this House. They are proud communities. They hate the stigma that much of this brings on them. But they know that within those communities lives a scourge. And I think Deputy Howland's warning is important because we have to know the scale of that problem. The largest economic generator in my community is probably the drugs industry. And when people in the community see it, they don't see the industry because it's hidden. They see the physical evidence of the people who are impacted by it. They see people who have an addiction injecting at school gates, or defecating or urinating as children come in and out of it. They see aggressive begging at shops. They see open drug dealing, or as one resident called it, the supermarket. They see children being used as drug mules in exchange for a curry tray or a pair of runners. They see businesses operating in plain sight that clearly have links to that drugs industry. So we have to know the scale of the problem, because that's the industry that our young people are being subjected to and are being targeted by. They're as much a threat to the security of the state as paramilitaries were, or COVID, or Brexit, and we have to look at it in those terms. So it is too easy to demonise the people who are impacted by it, those with an addiction. But those people who we don't see being impacted by it, particularly young people, are also a threat. I welcome the strategy because we've already started to see implementation. And I welcome particularly the antisocial behaviour forum. I think it's really important. It seems to be project managing solutions here. The scrambler bikes, which I particularly welcome, and I know many members of the House will know that, but also the implementation of the Fagan's Law to stop children being exploited by criminals, and the community safety partnerships, and particularly the Community Safety Fund, which seeks to reflect the seizures that are happening in my community and reflecting that in the funding that's available to those communities. There's 4 quick points in the last 30 seconds that I have that I would like us to draw attention to. The pilots of the Local Community Safety Partnerships, Minister, we need to move very quickly from pilot into implementation, and I make no bones about it. Ballymun and Finglas will be first in the queue to avail of those community safety partnerships, but we have to have the HSE and TUSLA at those two. For too long, the partnerships were established by other governments. HSE and TUSLA have been absent from those partnerships, and that's why we haven't been able to respond. The UBU contract, I think I'm very worried that the UBU contract that falls under the Minister for Children isn't doing enough to target disadvantage. It did previously under the Young People's Facilities and Service Fund. It doesn't anymore. And the last point, Chair, is on the issue of the commitment. The Taoiseach sat down with me for an hour this week to review the Ballymun and Brighter's Future report, and I appreciated the time that he had. But it needs to take senior leadership to tackle this in every community that's impacted by it. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy.